Muslims target a nursery school. The Senate wants to make sure every Muslim on the planet Earth has the right to immigrate to the United States. And the tax dollar-supported TSA successfully prevented an alleged terrorist from boarding a flight last week. Initial reports describe the suspect as standing 33 inches in height, having curly brown hair, and really into drinking milk from a bottle. My name is Howard Riell, and this is Riell Truth. You're listening to the American Freedom Network, streaming live around the world at AmericanNewsNet.com and on Facebook and YouTube and Tumblr and in the book Riell Truth, Stay Angry. And of course, as always, broadcasting out across the Colorado Front Range on KHNC, Johnstown, Colorado, 1360 AM. The Lion. The call-in number is 877-254-7524. My friends, welcome back. Brand new week. Brand new calamities to inform you of. Item from Breitbart. In response to Donald Trump's call for a temporary pause on Muslim migration, the Senate Judiciary Committee declared on Thursday that Muslims living in foreign nations have a global right to immigrate to the United States. Senator Jeff Sessions, Republican Alabama, who fought against the amendment's passage, says the measure represents, quote, an unprecedented effort to extend Americans' constitutional rights and protections to foreign citizens living in foreign countries. Sessions said it would, quote, constitute a transformation of our immigration system. In effect, it's a move toward the ratification of the idea that global migration has a human right and a civil right, and that these so-called immigrants' rights must be supreme to the rights of sovereign nations to determine who can and cannot enter their borders. Unquote, end of America. End of any country. As soon as a country has no say over who may and may not enter it, that country ceases to exist. For very real and practical and palpable reasons. Why should America not have the right to secure its own borders when every nation on the planet has that right? Well, I haven't got an answer for you, but I recommend you reach out to your elected representatives. Reach out to the Senate. Who are your national senators? Reach out to the people on the Senate Judiciary Committee. You don't have to live in their state to call them. Call them in Washington and ask them, who the hell gives you the right to grant immigration to the United States to every human being? What if every human being theoretically took them up on that? You want to live in a country with 7 billion citizens? I know. Especially third world citizens who hate and are envious of the United States and who come here hoping to take advantage of us, to suck us dry and destroy us. Why would the Senate do this? I haven't the vaguest idea. But I do know it's time for a president who will oppose the Senate. You know, the Senate, when it comes to accomplishing something worthwhile, the Senate does nothing. When it comes to helping make us vulnerable to our enemies, the Senate is Johnny on the spot right there. The word treason comes to mind. Item from Reuters. A hooded man claiming to be acting for Islamic State attacked a nursery school teacher with a knife-like weapon as he prepared for classes in the school north of Paris, French officials said on Monday. That's today. The male teacher was taken to a hospital after the attack by a man wielding a knife or box cutter who fled the scene after the attack at about 6:30 GMT, said the officials, adding that anti-terrorism officials were investigating. According to one judiciary official, the assailant slashed at the teacher's neck and said the act was a signal from the Islamic State group, also referred to in France by the name Daesh. This is Daesh, and it's a warning, the attacker told his victim, the official said, adding the victim's life was apparently not in danger, unquote. I'm sorry, I got to read that one again. The victim's life was not in danger. So someone screaming about an Islamic group slashed this guy with a knife or a box cutter, and the officials know that this man's life was not in danger. Well, that is a brilliance that transcends all logic. Muslim, violence, soft target. My friends, what's to stop that from happening again? What's to stop it from happening here? Well, the answer is that schools are no-gun zones, and so we're perfectly safe, right? Now this guy's on the loose. They're searching for him. What if a security guard in that school had had a gun and wasn't afraid to use it? That would be one more slasher, one more violent jihadist about whom we needn't worry. But here in the 21st century, we're sophisticated, we're cool, we're hip, we're PC. And so if people want to come into our nursery schools and slash people with knives, I guess it's okay. Item from Breitbart. In January 2015, a handful of senators quietly introduced new legislation in Congress that would allow for virtually unlimited Muslim immigration into the United States, lifting caps entirely on several categories of visas favored by immigrants from Muslim countries. The Mark Zuckerberg-led legislation, S-153, is called the Immigration Innovation Act, and it's taken on new significance following the terrorist attacks in San Bernardino. Those attacks are only possible due to Muslim immigration. Syed Farouk is reportedly the child of Pakistani immigrants, and his jihadi bride Tashfeen Malik was reportedly born in Pakistan. The so-called I-squared bill is significant for a second reason. One of the senators who introduced the bill is also running for president, Senator Marco Rubio. Stop! Mark Zuckerberg is worth about $1 zillion. So the affairs of average, ordinary human beings don't affect him. He will always be protected, always be behind an iron wall of security. Marco Rubio wants your vote, but he apparently doesn't feel that you have a right to be protected from illegal immigrants coming through Mexico or from Muslim immigrants coming from jihadi third world countries. Marco Rubio had disqualified himself over his stance on amnesty. Now he has disqualified himself by pushing this bill. As for Mr. Zuckerberg, he is a pathetic schmuck. Doesn't give a rat's ass about you, about America, about decency, about national security. All he knows is pleasing his liberal friends, feeling good about himself, and never, ever, ever having to worry about the consequences. Well, my friends, God save us from people who don't feel they have any connection with us, don't fear consequences of their actions, but are free to propagate any kind of nonsense they want because it just plain doesn't affect them. God help us all. It's Monday, and it's Riell Truth. I'll be right back.
I'm Joe Jacobs, CEO of the Patriot Trading, and I would like to encourage people to make sure they are prepared financially as the Federal Reserve continues to destroy the value of the dollar. Since the closing of the gold window in 1971, the Federal Reserve has led the way in the explosion of debt and the devaluing of your money. They openly say that they need 2% inflation, which simply means they hope to devalue your money, and they want to do this every single year, year after year. I know it's hard to understand, but the Federal Reserve believes in prosperity through debt and growth via the devaluation of your future. To learn more about how to protect yourself, visit us at allamericangold.com or call us at 800-951-0592 and protect yourself against the devaluing of your money. And the word became flesh and dwelt among us, and we beheld his glory, the glory as of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth. John bore witness of him and cried out, saying, This was he of whom I said, He who comes after me is preferred before me, for he was before me. The Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 14 and 15. No state shall enter into any treaty, alliance, or confederation, grant letters of marque or reprisal, coin money, emit bills of credit, make anything but gold and silver coin a tender in payment of debts, pass any bill of attainder, ex post facto law, or law impairing the obligation of contracts, or grant any title of nobility. Article 1, Section 10.
All right, guys, welcome back. It's the start of a brand new week. I'm Howard Riell. The show is called Riell Truth. Everybody in a position of power, almost everybody, wants to bring Muslim immigrants here. And that's not a problem because Muslims are just like us, right? No, they're not. Here's a video I'm going to post on my Facebook page. By the numbers, the untold story of Muslim opinions and demographics. This is stuff we need to hear. Let's listen. Yes. No, it's not. All right, my friends, I'm going to stop the tape there. I posted on my Facebook page, Riell Truth Radio. You can find it on YouTube also. The headline is By the Numbers, The Untold Story of Muslim Opinions and Demographics. Before your next discussion on this topic, no matter which side you're on, watch the video in its entirety and let that inform your opinion. Item from the End of the American Dream blog. It's going to be much more difficult for Donald Trump to win the Republican nomination than most people think. In order to win a nomination, a candidate must secure at least 1,237 of the 2,472 delegates up for grabs. But not all of them will be won during the state-by-state series of caucuses and primaries that will take place during the first half of 2016. Of the total 2,472 Republican delegates, 437 of them are unpledged delegates, and 168 of those are members of the Republican National Committee. Unless you've been hiding under a rock somewhere, you already know that the Republican National Committee is not a fan of Donald Trump. In order to win the Republican nomination without any of the unpledged delegates, Trump would need to win 60.78% of the delegates that are up for grabs during the caucuses and primaries. And considering that his poll support is hovering around 30% right now, that is a very tall order. Unquote. In other words, friends, the American people might want Donald Trump, but the Republican National Committee says no. So the committee wants what's good for the committee. As far as the American people, well, I guess we can go screw off as far as the career politicians are concerned. And that, my friends, is as close as you're going to get to putting your finger on the pulse of what the hell is broken in this country that we need to fix. Item from Fox News. Headline, ISIS reportedly killing babies with Down syndrome. I quote, men, women, the elderly, foreigners, non-believers, and gay people. Now it appears Islamic State has a new group of people to target. Disabled children. ISIS militants have reportedly issued a fatwa to its members authorizing them to, quote, kill newborn babies with Down syndrome, unquote. According to activist group Mosul Eye, 38 babies have already been killed since the religious decree was issued. In a post on the Mosul Eye Facebook page today, the media site claims any child with a disability is now at risk of being killed. Unquote. My friends, take heart. Your children, even if they don't have a disability, are already at risk of being killed by Muslims. Item from the Washington Times. Immigrant rights activists have vowed to sign up to 1 million immigrants, mostly Mexicans, for citizenship and then quickly register them to vote in time to punish Donald Trump and his fellow Republicans at the polls in November for their harsh rhetoric. The advocates say the new voters could make a difference in the presidential race, where most of the Republican field has tacked to the right in word and policy, and in key Senate races in Illinois and Florida, where Republicans will be reaching to hang on to critical seats. Unquote. This boils down to letting non-Americans vote in American elections. It's sick, it's twisted, it's self-destruction, and it's basically the end of America. Why immigrant rights activists should be able to sign up 1 million immigrants, including they're talking about illegals, and unhinge the balance in our political system is beyond me. Americans should be voting in America, my friends. If that simple statement takes you by surprise, well, I'm betting that's not all that would take you by surprise. Used to be just plain common sense, and now it's a fight. Item from Reuters. A Palestinian motorist rammed into a bus stop in Jerusalem on Monday, injuring at least 11 people before he was shot dead, Israeli police said, in the latest in the surge of street attacks. A campaign of stabbings, shootings, and car rammings by Palestinians has killed 19 Israelis and a U.S. citizen since the start of October. Israeli forces have killed at least 110 Palestinians, most of them whom the army described as assailants. This latest attack took place near the western entrance to Jerusalem, leading to the main highway to Tel Aviv, unquote. My friends, it's a horror when it happens there. You'll like it even less when it happens in your city. And it will. We'll be back.
We all know that our government is out of control. How does it point the people in it? How can we, the people, bring it back to the people's servants, not the people's masters? Liberty Forum and the Freedom Rider say officials in withstand any situation, from complete power independence to backup power for the short term. Our expertise focuses on standalone power, but we have extensive experience with utility interactive systems as well. Custom tailored capabilities as modest as emergency lighting all the way to commercial scale power. Great Plains Power is a full service company. We service everything we sell. We provide and design turnkey packages, custom design system, and parts for do-it-yourself. With more than 20 years of specialized experience at your disposal, let us know what your power concerns or goals are. Reach us by phone or the internet. Call 303-239-9963. That's 303-239-9963. Or go to GreatPlainsSolar.com. Now this is the testimony of John when the Jews sent priests and Levites from Jerusalem to ask him, "Who are you?" He confessed and did not deny, but confessed, "I am not the Messiah." And they asked him, "What then? Are you Elijah?" He said, "I am not." "Are you the prophet?" And he answered, "No." The Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 19 through 21. Article 4. The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrant shall be issued but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the places to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. Piccolo's restaurant in Denver reminds us that over 750,000 children were reported missing last year. Over 58,000 of these were abducted by non-family members. Keep an eye out for youngsters at play, and if you see anything suspicious, contact the authorities immediately. This message from Piccolo's restaurant in Denver is not only the best Italian and Mexican cuisine, it's the people who care. Give them a call at 303-757-5166. 303-757-5166. Piccolo.
Guys, we are back. You know, the power of truth is indeed powerful. I'm about to play a video clip. I will post it. I think I've already posted it on my Facebook page. Donald Trump's campaign chief is going to absolutely destroy a CNN anchor. And this is just a conquest of truth over falsehood when you boil it right down. Let's listen.
Now, I think it's safe to say Donald Trump is not a high opinion of justice. And you don't know unbelievably
All right, guys, I'm going to go back to the news. Watch the rest of this video on my Facebook page on YouTube. She does indeed do a thorough job of kicking this guy's ass with words, with facts, with truth. CNN and the other liberal media cannot stand up to fact and truth. If you're listening to my show, I think it's a pretty safe assumption that facts and truth mean a lot to you. Facts and truth are on Donald Trump's side. Do the research. Item from the Holy New York Times, Dateline. Riverside, California, the regulars did not take it seriously when Enrique Marquez mused about terrorism at Morgan's Tavern, a dank dive bar where he hauled ice, cleaned bathrooms, and checked IDs at the door. After a few drinks, he would just start talking about his money woes, trying to lose weight, wanting to join the Navy. News reports about terror were just fodder for more bar talk. He would say stuff like, "There's so much going on. There's so many sleeper cells, so many people just waiting. When it happens, it's going to be big. Watch," unquote, said Nick Rodriguez, a frequent patron who had known Mr. Marquez on and off for the past 2 years. Quote, "We took it as a joke. When you look at the kid and talk to him, no one would take him seriously about that," unquote. My friends, take it seriously because there are undoubtedly sleeper cells here in the United States of armed and dangerous terrorists, and there are Islamic communities, mosques all over the United States who give protection and cover and support to these people. So when Donald Trump says we have to keep Muslims from coming to America, I agree. That's a good first step. Item from Cruz.senate.gov, Dateline, D.C. On Tuesday, U.S. Senator Ted Cruz and Texas Governor Greg Abbott held a press conference in the U.S. Capitol calling for passage of Senator Cruz's State Refugee Security Act of 2015, that's S-2363, which would empower the states to ensure the safety and security of their citizens by blocking the resettlement of refugees within their borders. We are today at a time of war. We've seen the attacks in Paris. We've seen the attack in San Bernardino. ISIS and radical Islamic terrorists have declared war on America, even if President Obama refuses to admit it, Senator Cruz said. Stop. Senator Cruz is trying to empower states to safeguard citizens. Anybody here, show of hands, old enough to remember when the federal government also wanted to safeguard American citizens? Seems like 100 years ago. It wasn't all that long ago, but make no mistake about it, the federal government today has absolutely no interest in safeguarding American citizens. Thank you, Obama and Clinton voters. Item from AlanBWest.com. Following the Paris terror attacks, more than half the nation's governors voiced opposition to Syrian refugees entering their state. Donald Trump took it a step further, calling for the complete shutdown of Muslims entering the U.S. We'll be back.
Okay, folks, have you ever thought about having your own?
Okay, guys. Video has come to an end. I'm going to sign off. When you see it, listen to it again just to refresh yourselves. Share it. You know how it goes. I'll be back tomorrow with more Real Truth. Hasta luego.